So I want to say I know I was supposed to make a video on Wednesday. I made my little brief hello video to say that I've completely screwed that up. And then I said I was going to put a video up on Thursday night, and I didn't because it's this video you're about to see. So leave it to me to do a review of a handy cam and then have to use my cell phone to do some vlogging. But I'm in Richmond, Virginia for 2 days, and I'm at the Hyatt House West. And wow, it's fancy. I'll show you guys the hotel when I get back up there, but right now I'm waiting to go to dinner and hopefully get some food. I'll tell you my whole saga when I have a chance. Alright, so here we are. We're at the Hyatt House, and we've got a little kitchen that has a sink, of course, and a little dishwasher and a little stove. I'm making some coffee. We got a microwave and some dishes and stuff, and then a full-size refrigerator. There wasn't really anything in there other than, you know, and then we've got some art, of course, a little desk, a couch, a mirror, a little bulletin board, me, some more art, a TV that swivels like all the way, the bed, and then the bathroom, and the closet, of course, pretty standard closet. And then a sliding door. Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. See, that's happened a few times. The sliding door. And then here's the shower. And they have this little hole here so you can reach in and turn on the water. And, of course, the toilet and more art. So that was my hotel room. I just went through and made sure I got everything, and I'm about to go and check out here in just a minute after I have my coffee. Okay, well, you've seen the... What are you doing? You've seen the Richmond, Virginia trip. And I don't actually remember exactly what it was I was going to complain about that one. Other than there's not a direct flight from Kansas City to Richmond. And so I was not happy about the fact. I don't know. You guys are just going to have to see the mess. Sorry. But I was not happy about the fact that I had to get on a plane in Kansas City, go to North Carolina, and then travel from there to Richmond. By the time I got there, it was probably it was 9 o'clock out there, I think. 8 or 9 o'clock out there. And so it was late. It was definitely late. And I was hungry. Oh my gosh, I was hungry. And I was ready for some food, and I was ready to go to bed. And then we went and had a really good dinner. But one of the things I wanted to say was, if you're faced with the choice between a taxi cab, and a Lyft, from a pricing perspective, you are way better off with a Lyft, because I checked the Lyft prices from the airport to the hotel, and the Lyft price was $35. But I didn't feel like waiting, so First world problems, right? But I didn't feel like waiting. So I jumped in a cab. Well, the cab was $71. So I, I was a little bit miffed about that. But it was my own fault because I picked it. So I think the costs associated with traveling and just the sheer waiting at the airport and going through security and all that kind of stuff, I think that makes me not really a traveler. I don't want to travel very much. But to answer my Spooky University questions, what was my favorite trip? Well, I've had a lot of trips that once I got there, it was great and I loved it. But I think my favorite trip was probably when I went to San Francisco. Gosh, it's been at least 10 years ago now, but I had such a good time. It was for business, but it was one of the guys that I worked with took me out and we went to all these different restaurants and we did all this different stuff and it was so much fun. We went on the roof of this apartment building and it was just really cool. And what a cool town, right? San Francisco is amazing. When I was 15, we went to New York. My mom and my stepdad took us to New York. That was a really cool trip when I was 15. Flash forward to me going to New York several years later when I had to go for a business conference, and I did not like it. I didn't like all the people being so close. I mean, I love people, but just being so close to each other, it was very uncomfortable for me. And at the time I was a smoker too, and I was always a considerate smoker, so I tried to get away from people so that they wouldn't have to, smell my cigarette. But there was no getting away from people in New York. It just wasn't. You just didn't. So I didn't really like that aspect of it. But so that was probably my least favorite trip, and why. I'm trying to think if there are any other things I could say about traveling. The thing about it is, once I'm at the place, I love it. I think it's cool to see a new town, to see the different cool attractions that they have, and see how people act and hear their accents. I really love to hear different accents. So, so I like traveling from that perspective, but from the having to wait at the airport and all that kind of stuff, it's just not me. I do love taking the train. I've taken the train from Kansas City to Chicago a few times, and if you ever do that and can pay for it, there's a sleeper car, and that's really cool to do. It's a cool ride anyway, just because you get to see the country and stuff. But and then driving, I always like a good road trip. I have my own space. I can get my own snacks. I don't have to worry about other people getting all jammed in beside. But that's the other thing too. I am not a small person by any stretch of the imagination. So getting on a plane is kind of a challenge, just because you are, even if you're not as big as me, it's a challenge anyway, because you're so squished together because of how how the seats are and the leg room and all that stuff. So I get in and I usually try to get a window seat, but sometimes it's hard to do that, especially on something like Southwest, where you're sort of corralled and you have to get your group early and all that stuff. So anyway, so that's, I've been out of the country once, and we went to Mexico. Went with my mom and my sister-in-law before she was my sister-in-law, and we had a really good time. That was really fun. The trip, so getting there was a challenge because we had issues with passports and birth certificate. Well, actually, you didn't have to have your passport then. You had to at least have a birth certificate, and we had issues with that, and then we had issues with delays. But we did wind up getting moved up to first class on the plane, which was really cool, because we got warm nuts and a nice seat and everything. It was very roomy up there. But yeah, so as far as, I can't remember the other questions. I know I asked what's your least favorite trip was, what your most favorite trip was, where would you like to go? So, so this will be the last question I answer. So, where would I like to go? I would really love to go to Greece. I think that it would be amazing to go there. I'd also like to go to Salem and see, you know, because I know they all play up the witch thing a lot, and I would love to go to Salem and see all of that. Although the history of it is actually really sad, of course, but just to see the place where that whole event took place, and I know they have amazing swag. So I know that's terrible. They make money off of their, you know, murderous past, but whatever. I mean, it's phone's ringing. I'll be back. Okay. So I think I answered my questions from Spooky University. If you're not familiar with Spooky University, I'll leave a link to the channel down below. It is my other channel, and we pull a topic every week and we talk about it, and it's super fun. And if you haven't subscribed, you should go subscribe. All right. That's all I have to say about that. So I think that's it. This is a religious holiday weekend this weekend. So if you celebrate Easter, why, happy Easter to you. And if not, happy weekend. And I hope you have a good day or good night wherever you are. And I will talk to you on Wednesday. Bye. Bye. Thank you for watching. Click here to subscribe, or click here to watch another video. I'll see you later, creepy poples.